Most people think this is a story about creation. It is not. Amental severs Shaarj from Azeroth, leaving the Veil of Eternal Blossoms a scar of stolen light. The Pantheon's shadow falls, old gods quiver. Norgannon watches, glyphs bleeding into stone. What did the Dreamweaver carve before silence? What truths did the others erase? The discs of Norgannon do not merely whisper, they archive. Buried in their spirals lies the Titan's first Failuria blueprint etched in shame. Before the Maw's shadow, before the Void's hunger, there was a design flaw. Norgannon's glyphs bleed this truth. The old gods were not born of chaos. They were prototypes, imperfect, abandoned, yet their roots predate even the Pantheon's silence. Why did the others erase this? Why let Norgannon's dreams fester with what should have been unmade? The answer lies in the gaps between his records where the War of Creation never wrote its victory. What did the Dreamweaver know? That the Titan's first world was a tomb, and its architects feared what they had forged. The first ones left their forge to the Void's hunger. Norgannon remained. His quill drank starlight, etched truths into stone. The Pantheon shaped Azeroth's bones, but he carved its memory. 7 heads of Tathamet sang the Crystal Arch's first hymna song that bound the world soul to chaos, order, and the unspoken void between. What did the Dreamweaver archive when the others turned away? The Maw's shadow, sketched in ash before its teeth found flesh. The Titans buried their failures deep, yet Norgannon's discs pulsed with forbidden echoes. Did he know the world soul's duality was no accident? Azeroth's heart beats for 6 forces, but the 7th silence whispers in its marrow. The Void Lords did not enter this realm. They remembered it, for Norgannon had etched their shadow long before the Pantheon's light. His dreams were not stories, they were warnings. The Titans erased their mistakes, but the discs endured cold, unyielding, holding the shape of what should never wake. What else lies trapped in his stone vaults? The answer festers in the world soul's blood, in the way Azeroth trembles at its own reflection. The first world was a tomb. The second may be its key. Beneath the weight of creation, Norgannon wove silence into song. The Pantheon bound N'Zoth's writhing form in the southern oceans, chains of starlight and sorrow. They did not kill the old gods, they buried them. Sethun's eyes blinked out in 1,000 tombs. Yogg-Saron's whispers curdled to stillness. Norgannon watched. He recorded every scream. His archives were not meant to endure. The other Titans moved on. Amental crowned himself Highfather. Sargeras forged the Pantheon's blade, championing order, but Norgannon lingered. His dreams were not stories, they were scars. Azeroth's tides echoed with N'Zoth's trapped fury. The Dreamweaver knew the old gods had walked worlds before the Void claimed them. The Pantheon refused to speak of that truth. What did the Dreamweaver know? That the Pantheon's first failure was not the old gods' corruption but their existence. The Void Lords had seeded life where world souls bled bright. The Titans did not create life, they inherited a battlefield. Norgannon's records proved it. Yet he hid them, let the Pantheon their myths. Let Azeroth become the key to a tomb they'd rather forget. Grief is a quiet god. It does not shout, it hums in the cracks of stone, in the way Norgannon's dreams outlasted the Titans who dismissed them. The archives waited. The old gods waited, and the world soul kept blighting. The Pantheon demands erasure. Norgannon carves memory into stone. His glyphs pulse not with light, but with the weight of what should never be known. The Titans' first failures, the cracks in their perfect design, are etched into Azeroth's bones. Among them, a shadow wound, the Maw's first breath, a flaw the Titans buried but never fixed. They call him the Dreamweaver. They do not ask what he dreams of. Norgannon knows the cost. The Pantheon's wrath is a storm that could unmake him. But he weaves the forbidden into his slumber blueprints of a world that was never meant to be. Azeroth's foundation, tainted by the ghosts of abandoned schemes. The Maw's shape, a scar the Titans tried to stitch over. The other Titans turn away. Amental burns his records from the stars. Sargeras claims the Void is a distant threat, not a wound in their own work. But Norgannon's defiance is written in every mountain that refuses to forget. His dreams are a rebellion, a vault of the Pantheon's shame. The old gods stir in the gaps between his glyphs, feeding on the truth the Titans erased. What did he see that made him defy them? A flaw in the design, a path to undo it. The glyphs do not answer. They only pulse, waiting for a mind bold enough to read them. The world soul bleeds, but the archives endure. The Maw's first blueprint lies there, a cipher of what the Titans feared. And in the silence between stars, Norgannon's choice echoes, a single act of remembrance, sharper than any blade. But to understand what came next, you must understand what Norgannon gave up. His dreams were not mere tales, they were a vault of the Titans' first failures, etched into Azeroth's bones. The curse of flesh, the Black Empire's rice secrets the others buried, Norgannon remembered, and for that he became the Titan who whispered into silence. Norgannon's defiance split the Pantheon like a chisel through crystal. The curse of flesh did not merely corrupt it unmade. Titan-forged sentinels, hollowed of their divinity, stumbled into mortality's ache. Their hollow eyes became the Black Empire's foundation. The old gods did not create Azeroth's first civilizations, they repurposed them. What did Norgannon's dreams hold? Fragments of the Titans' first failure, their earliest constructs, flawed and abandoned. A history the others buried, the highborn, once luminous, crumbled into ash. Their spires now bones of the world soul, who paid, the nameless legions who bore the curse's weight, the Dreamweaver's kin, erased from memory. Even the stars dimmed, whispering his forgotten truths. The Pantheon turned their faces. Kalistras, youngest of the aspects, wept magma. The old gods feasted on the wound. Norgannon's records, woven into Azeroth's marrow, became a labyrinth, a place where cosmic shadows duel, his final act. A whisper, not a scream, a truth too sharp to wield. What price does a world pay for remembering? The answer bleeds in every shadow, every shattered hymn of the Titans. The cost is not in the act of defiance. It is in the weight of what remains when the gods look away. The veil of eternal blossoms, birthed from Amantul's excision of Shaarj, holds a secret, a scar of erased failure. Norgannon's dreams did not merely archive history, wove it into Azeroth's bones, his whispers etched in creation's marrow. The Maw's first blueprint slumbers there, a shadow of the Titans' first misstep, a flaw they buried but he preserved. He was not a passive keeper. His mind became a crucible, the Pantheon's omissions burned in him, Amantul's silence, Sargeras's haste, the weight of what they refused to name. Norgannon's records grew thorned, a labyrinth of truths the others feared. The veil's petals mask a void's echo, a prototype, a warning. What did the Dreamweaver know? That the Maw was not an accident, that its roots drank from the same well as the veil. That Azeroth's foundation hid a rot the Titans papered over. His dreams became a prisoniate, a key, a paradox of memory. To save, he had to chain himself. In Norgannon's duality, Azeroth's fate turned, champion of the Pantheon, dark titan of forgotten things. His transformation was no fall, it was a fulcrum. The Watcher became the burden, the archive became the wound. And in the veil's blossoms, the Maw's first breath waits, unspoken, unseen, Azeroth's original sin remembered. The discs of Norgannon lie silent in Azeroth's marrow cold, circular scars etched into the world soul's flesh. Each bears glyphs that pulse like dying embers, their light swallowed by the void between heartbeats. Here, in the hollows of forgotten temples and shattered citadels, Norgannon's dreams linger. Not as visions, but as wounds, fissures in reality where the first failures of the Titans pool like ink in water. The world soul, that vast and aching tapestry of life, cradles these secrets in its deepest threads. To touch a disc is to feel the weight of a memory, not yours a tremor of ancient regret. The Maw's breath, faint and feral, coils around their edges, as though the void itself remembers being born from what was left unsaid. What did Norgannon preserve here? Fragments of a truth the Titans buried, that creation is not a song without dissonance. The old gods, those primordial things, did not rise from chaos alone. Their shadows stretch back to a time before the void's hunger, to a silence even the world soul hesitates to name. The discs do not speak. They wait for hands unafraid of the weight of knowing, for minds that can hold the shape of a secret without shattering. And in the veils where light fractures, the Maw stirs, not as a wound, as a question, unanswered, unanswered, unanswered. Norgannon stood where Sargeras fell creator, where the destroyer had burned. The Pantheon carved their failures into oblivion. He wove them into dreams, not escape, not erasure. A ledger of hubris etched in starlight and shadow. The old gods did not fight the Titans, they waited. Threads of their rot coiled through Norgannon's tapestry, patient as a storm before the lightning. What did he see in Azeroth's forging? The same flaw the Pantheon dented the price of order, paid in buried truths. Every mountain rose on a secret, every river ran with unspoken names. The Dreamweaver's archive was no monument, it was a wound left open, a question the cosmos could not answer. The Pantheon called it chaos. He called it memory, and in that memory, the old gods found their anchor. Not born of void, not born at Allenly unmade, unstitched from the edges of creation. Their strategy was not conquest, it was time. Let the gods, let them burn, let their works fracture under the weight of what they refuse to know. Norgannon's final mirror holds no hope. Only clarity, the past is not a shadow, it is a shackle, and the maw still unanswered breathes. The discs of Norgannon do not whisper, they scream in stone. In their fractured glyphs, the veil of eternal blossoms blooms a paradise the Titans erased. Beside it, the maw's jagged schematics coil like a wound they refuse to heal. What was buried here, not a secret, a scar. The Dreamweaver's archive is no relic, it is a wound left open. The truth is not buried, it is remembered. Azeroth's bones hold the weight of their first failure. The veil, a promise, the maw, its shadow. Norgannon did not dream, he documented. The Titans built a world, he recorded their silence. The glyphs shimmer, the maw breathes, the past is not a shadow, it is a shackle. And the truth, it pulses, the truth is not buried, it is remembered. What else did Norgannon carve into Azeroth's bones? His dreams are no passive echoes, they are a vault, etched in stone and starlight, where the Titans' earliest failures fester. The Watchers, bound to silence, now stir. Their rebellion hums in the earth's tremors, in the maw's breath. What truths